Hello everybody, today we're going to be focusing on glutes and a little bit of core for Pilates. Short little flow today. Let's get started in all fours. So you can have your hands shoulder width apart, your knees hip width apart. And here just relax the head, relax the neck, softening, centering into your body. Taking a couple rounds of breaths, I want you to think inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. When you exhale through your mouth, breathe into the mid-back area. So you can even have one hand on your back over here, just where the shoulder blades are. As you inhale, take a deep inhale in. Inhale to the mid-back. And then as you exhale, exhale everything out. And again, inhale full lungs. Exhale, release. Inhale to the back of your hand. And exhale, release. Let's do 3 more. You can release your hand to the floor. Inhale, imagine breathing into your hand, pushing the hand away from your back. And as you exhale, sigh everything out without dropping the body. And again, 2. Very good. One more inhale. And exhale. Adding on spinal articulations, going for your cat-cow. So as you inhale, untuck the pelvis as you arch the lower back. Send the sit bones up towards the ceiling. Keep on inhaling. Now bend from your upper back. So really squeeze the shoulder blades together. Coil the shoulders back and reach the chin forward. Neck is neutral. Exhale. Lead from the tailbone. Pelvis tucks underneath. Exhale. Round the lower back. Hollow the belly. Now you push the upper back towards the ceiling. Mid back towards the ceiling. Hands heavy into the floor. As you puff the upper back up towards the ceiling, really round in. Inhale to arch, articulating through each and every vertebrae of your spine, squeezing the shoulder blades together. So the shoulder blades area is an area that a lot of us have trouble bending into. Really encourage you to focus into this area. Exhale to round, pelvis tucks underneath. Push them out strongly with your hands, rounding in. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Release. Actually, let's go for one more. Inhale. Sorry. Just so that you can get it right and really, really feel into it. And then exhale, release. Good. Now walk the hands one step forward. One hand print distance forward. Tuck your toes and lift your knees off the floor. Just hover your knees off the floor. Now shift your weight forward into your hands. Push strongly into the mat and lift the upper back up. So think of puffing the upper back up towards the ceiling as the shoulder blades spread wide apart. Keep this, push back, downward dog. Full stretch. Really lengthen the spine. Push the sit bones up towards the ceiling. Keep lengthening the arms, lengthen the legs. Now lower your knees to the floor and then lie flat on your back. Okay, now lying flat on your back with the legs straight, just relax. Everything releases, everything relaxes. Now slide your feet together, flex your feet. Now bend your right foot and place your foot on the mat. Now your right heel, can you get it in line with the left knee? Keeping that, can you bend the left foot, place it on the floor to meet the right? Preparing for your pelvic press. Now, whatever position your pelvis is in, this is your neutral pelvis. There's a slight curve underneath your lower back. You're not trying to force anything and everything is relaxed. From here, we're going to go for pelvic tilts. So on the inhale, can you push the lower back down to the mat as you round the pelvis underneath? And then as you exhale, can you come back into neutral? And again, tailbone tucks underneath. So we're coming into a posterior pelvic tilt over here. And then release. Now, this time, arch the back a little bit more. This is your anterior pelvic tilt with the arched back. Coming into your PPT, posterior pelvic tilt, tilt underneath, pelvis rounds under, your back is flat. Inhale to arch, coming into your anterior pelvic tilt. Let's go one more time. Tuck underneath, PPT. And then arch into your APT. Okay, good, stay here. Now have the hands straight out in front of you, place them on the floor, palms flat. Now I want you to tuck your pelvis underneath like a PPT. You should feel your lower back touching the floor. Now push strongly into your feet and then just lift the pelvis off the floor. Lower back is still on the floor as much as you can, but lift the pelvis, lift the sit bones off the floor. And then slowly land them down. 3 more like this. Tuck the pelvis underneath, scoop the pelvis up, hover, hold, and then very slowly release. Lower back, pelvis untucks. 2 more, round, and then scoop. Hold. Slowly articulate the vertebrae back down, and then release. 1 more. Tuck the tailbone underneath. Scoop the pelvis up like an ice cream scoop. Hold here. And then very slowly to release all the way back to the floor. Good, rest. Now we're going to go into full version. So tuck the pelvis underneath. You should feel the lower back touching the floor. Now I want you to slowly scoop the pelvis off the floor. Push strongly into your feet and come up as high as you can without letting your ribcage flare. Now, if this is too constrictive to your hips, you can take the feet hip width apart. It's going to be much easier to lift and to scoop. Ribcage stays down. Your hips come up. You should feel the glutes squeezing, glutes working. Keep your scoop. Slowly articulate the spine down. Upper back touches first. Hollow the belly. Mid back touches. Lower back touches. Your pelvis is still scooped underneath. Slowly coming back down. And then rest. Good. You have 4 more. Scoop the pelvis underneath. Scoop the pelvis off the floor as you lift, articulating your spine to lift. Push strongly with your feet and hold at your highest. You should feel your glutes start to work. Your outer hips are tight. Good. And slowly release from the upper back down. Upper back lands first. Upper back lands first. Then your mid back, your shoulder blades area. As you slowly release, a deep core activation to land the lower back on the floor. And then rest. Last 3, tuck, scoop, and lift. Lifting as high as you can, making sure your shoulder blades are nice and relaxed. As you lower, remembering what touches first. Upper back, mid back. Feel the core activation as you come down. Very good. Let's go for 2 more. Scoop and lift. If you're doing this with the right muscles activated, you should also feel your hamstrings start to work. Hamstrings start to fire up. Coming up higher, 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 higher. Hold here. And then very slowly release. Slowly. So in Pilates, we try to go as slow and controlled as we can. Good. And untuck. Let's go 1 more. Tuck the pelvis underneath and then scoop to lift. Really scoop to lift. Good. Holding at your highest. You're going to hold here. Press the palms into the floor. Lift the hips a little bit higher. Good. Stay. We're going to stay here for 15 more seconds. I'm going to time you. You're going to keep the pelvis lifted. Pelvis is still scooped. Feet pushing heavy into the floor. Breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. Last 5. Keep lifting up. Squeeze the glutes in for 3, 2, 1. Hold. Slowly come back down. Upper back, mid back, lower back. Slowly come back down and then release. Good. Hug your knees into your chest and rest. I really feel it in my glutes and hamstrings. I hope you also feel the same. Okay, bring your arms into a cactus shape. Pull the knees into your chest. Keep the knees together and then lower your knees towards the right elbow. Come back to center. Knees over towards your left elbow. Twist, just to release the lower back a little bit. Come back to center. Okay, keep the knees close into your chest. Take the hands behind your head. Interlace the hands behind your head. Now, we're going to come up off your shoulder blades. When you come up, I don't want you to think lifting up from your neck. I want you to think lifting up from your core. So the gap between your hip joint, your hip bone, and your rib cage, this part here, think of closing it as you lift. So the movement comes from the core activation, not so much in the neck. Okay, let's interlace the hands behind the head. Slightly tuck the chin into your chest. Now feeling your lower back pushing into the floor. Lifting up, lift the shoulder blades off the floor and think closing that gap between the rib cage and the core and the hip bones. Good, now hold here. Take your feet up towards the ceiling, 90 degrees. Push your thighs forward, keep the feet flexed, legs straight. Now we're going to lower both legs 30 degrees down. Hold. Lower both legs 60 degrees down. Hold here. Lower both legs, hover. Hover just above the floor. And then come back up. Good. Again, 30 degrees down. Neck is neutral. 60 degrees down. Hold. Hover. And back up. Last 3, lower, 60 degrees, hover and back up. Last 2, good, keep going, slowly, neck is neutral, core is tight, shoulder blades are high. One more, last one. Remember to keep breathing. Good, do one more and stay at your 60 degrees. Now take your hands away from the head. Arms are straight. We're going to hold here. Shoulder blades high. Core stays tight. Neck stays neutral. We're here for 10 more seconds. Keep the arms straight, legs straight. Can you bring the legs lower? Hold here. Neck neutral, looking up towards the ceiling. Shoulder blades high. Hold for 3. Hold for 2. Hold for 1. Knees to chest. And slowly release the head to the floor. Good. Rest. Slowly coming back up. Come into your downward dog. Hands on the floor. Feet step back. Full stretch. Take the right knee to your right wrist. And then land the shin on the floor. Pigeon pose. Keep your hands on the mat and then think of sinking your hips down towards the floor. So here, there's a slight arch in your back. This should be quite comfortable for the front line to release. All of the core that we did, all of the glutes that we did just now with the pelvic press, there should be a bit of a stretch, a bit of a release. Switch, right leg steps back, downward dog. Bring the left knee to touch the left wrist. Land the shin on the floor. Pigeon pose left side. Keeping the chest lifted. You're really feeling into your hips. Softening the shoulders. Keeping the neck neutral. Step it back, downward dog. Lower the knees to the floor. and then sit in the cross-legged position. Interlace the fingers, push the palms forward, take both arms up over your head. Inhale, lengthen toe. Exhale, fold forward. Fingertips to the floor. Walk the fingertips forward and push the sit bones back. Breathing deeply here. Slowly come back to center and switch. Other leg on top. Interlace the other thumb on top, push the palms forward, and then take the arms over your head, full stretch. Inhale, lengthen tall. Exhale, hinge from the hips. Fingertips to the floor, walking forward. Relaxing the head, relaxing your neck. Sit bones pushing back, fingertips walking forward. Slowly coming back to the center. Okay, thank you for joining me on the mat today.